And I believe we are now live, according to YouTube. Good evening, everyone. It has been... I don't know what to describe this week. I would say that this week has been the week of the stupid two views, because we've had multiple massive and extremely silly events happen regarding various male indie VTubers. Yesterday we covered... No, it wasn't yet. Yeah, it was yesterday, actually. It was. Goodness me, I'm literally losing track of the concept of time itself. So yesterday we covered the Torah drama, which was possibly one of the silliest events that I had seen happening in a very long time. And now we have, yes, the VTuber Me Too events. Because in the wake of the Torah drama, a whole bunch of seething Vtweeters and one-view nobodies have come out with their own documents, and there's currently a good 3 or 4 hovering around the place, and I genuinely cannot keep track of them all at this point. There are so many, and they are so silly. I know that Cubanodum on Discord has been reading through one of them, which is the revived Silin. So somebody called Carla Messia is made a giant call out about revived Selin, but we're not talking about that tonight. Yeah, VTuber Me Too, oh god, Tyler the Creator moment. Yeah, I mean, I find this hilarious because there's just so many nothing burgers. It is the perfect example of people who lead absolutely beatific lives, encountering hardship or rejection or misery in some very small capacity for the first time in their whole lives, and having absolutely no way to deal with it. These are the kind of people that Abigail Schreier really warns about in her books, like Bad Therapy, Why the Kids Aren't Growing Up. I've been reading that book. I've been reading Bad Therapy, Why the Kids Aren't Growing Up by Abigail Schreier, and it's a fascinating book. It would definitely be on my recommended reading list for... I mean, it's not going to be relevant to my audience because, well, maybe somebody like Reinigan. Maybe somebody like Reinigan. Like, Reinigan would definitely benefit from a book like this since he has a daughter. It's just a warning against how society is treating women and has been raising women for several decades at this point. The best part is when all the sex pests instantly back off once they are told no in any capacity. Yeah, before we get into the subject of today's stream, I am going to just highlight something that the Under the Tea podcast, who have been quite helpful in highlighting a lot of these incidents. They've been quite helpful. They've helped me archive various things. They got me some of the stuff related to Taro. Or Torah. I cannot remember his name. Torah, Kura. For some reason, his name is just a total blank in my mind. I keep forgetting about it. But the chip reader failed at Starbucks. You don't get it! Kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. But here we go. So, Under the Tea podcast had a perfectly reasonable take in all of this. I won't read all of it, and they say, we agree Torah is a creep and a sex pest. Where we disagree is how far he's gone and how many actual victims there are. And as he points out, Torah, during an event where he met up with an of-age fan for a sexual encounter, ended up turning them down. Remember, Torah never had sex with Lily. Never. Even though she went to this convention under the impression they were going to have sex. Later, while said fan was admittedly mad at him for no explainable reason in context other than the fact she didn't get to sleep with him, he sat in her lap and kissed her cheek. She defines this event as pinning her down, and she supposedly feels she might be SA'd. This might fit the bill for harassment, but it would still be very difficult to get that through a court. While people are entitled to their feelings, not all feelings are valid or logical. This makes perfect sense. Given all context, none of her feelings about this event are logical. She was, by legal and moral definitions, never sexually assaulted or abused. His behavior was creepy, but never criminal. And then she makes another good point that I actually hadn't thought of before. This situation is almost an exact one-to-one of the pro-Jared scandal. His ultimate crime was with sexting fans, but those fans were completely willing. Yes, and by now we have had multiple examples of Torah. Why on earth did it say Botrix has correctly joined the channel? I have no idea what that means. That when people told Torah to shut up and go away, he shut up and he went away. There is currently zero evidence that Torah has actively harassed anyone in any capacity who said, no, I don't want you to continue contacting me about this. I don't want you to continue sending me sexual messages. Not one person has come forward with evidence, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, that he has harassed them. Not one. Of the dozens and dozens and dozens of people he sent sexually explicit messages to, not one of them has been able to come forward in any major capacity and say, no, I said this wasn't okay, and he kept on doing it anyway. And as she points out, we're going to start with a clout chaser, Zenith. Zenith had entirely friendly and consensual interactions with Torah, but leaked all their conversations anyways, solely for attention. Then there are the subject of what I'm going to talk about later, Akarui, who uses the Torah situation to try and convince people who sided against him to help her cancel someone they didn't like. And then we have middle of the road, adding to your story people. And then, of course, you have openly admitting it was consensual and they didn't see an issue with it at the time, but now they've decided it was sexual assault. This was Amphi. I have not actually seen this one myself. This is Amphi. I think the only thing I am uncomfy with is being asked for videos/pictures of stuff. I'm pretty sure that's my only boundary I've come across. And here's Torah Karu saying, low, okay, fair. Also, the nudes thing was a joke, obviously. At this, and again, this guy is an idiot. This Torah, it should have deleted his stuff. He can't come back to this. Is it even fair to call him a sex pest? Then I don't like Torah, okay? I think that he crossed many lines. This is not behavior I would ever endorse, even if it was 100% consensual and accepted. I don't think that a man should talk to a woman like this under any circumstances, much less dozens of them. The kind of stuff that he sent to people in their DMs is the kind of things that I might talk to my wife about in bed at night during times of intimacy. And that is the only context in which I would consider the kind of messages that he sent to dozens of women to be acceptable. That kind of intimate, naughty talk that you might have with your wife. That's it. He pesters people for sex, so yes. I mean, I do agree overall. I think that his behavior should be absolutely discouraged and should definitely be called out. I think he deserves all of the mockery and the public humiliation that he's gotten, because he set himself up for this massively on every level, and he has no defense. He has no defense for that. The only thing that I think he didn't deserve at all was Lily claiming that he sexually assaulted with her. Because at this point, I think that even if you take the events as she recounts them as literally as possible, he made one bad and stupid decision and then he called it off. And I kind of do believe him when he says to her that he never intended for it to go any further. I do believe it. And when I originally thought that she was righteously angry when she says that he wouldn't say the words sexual assault to her in DMs. But now I think that he was right to not say so, because if he had said, oh, yes, I definitely sexually assaulted you by kissing you, that was a horrible thing, I should never do it again, I think on some at least visceral level, he realized that saying that would be playing directly into her hands and give her more ammunition for something that didn't actually happen. Again, he is an idiot, and he deserves everything that he's gotten because he opened himself up to it on a level that I think any man who went even half as far as he did deserves condemnation for. But I am not seeing somebody who is a danger to society, especially when there are people like Koinuku who have met him in person and said, while his DMs were really creepy and unpleasant, and I found them really weird, he was the perfect gentleman to me in real life. He carried my bags for me. That does not say to me dangerous sexual assaulter. It just doesn't. The optics are just all wrong. Where am I with this? Yes, let's go back a little bit. These allegations are repeats of the same information. Not one person has come forward with something we consider outside of the original post. Everyone repeats they were involved in overly sexual, consensual flirting with Torah, and now they're revoking consent a year later. Allow me to just post this link in chat, by the way. 1 second. There we go. This is why no one talks to women and why women cry out for lack of attention, Lamau. I can kind of agree. Again, Kirsha would be able to supply a different perspective from me, kind of stretching it considering how bad people would probably think that label is. I agree. Like, this is like on the equivalent to like being on this. I know there are some people that have been like put on the permanent sex offender registry because they hired a prostitute like who was of age and consenting, and they're treated in the exact same category as like serial pedophiles who have molested dozens of children. I don't think that's fair. I think if a man hires a prostitute, he should be humiliated for it because he did a pathetic and lowly thing. But I don't think it deserves permanent, infinite condemnation by the entirety of society from now until the day he dies. Luminous, the whole Me Too movement basically requires the cancel targets to be considered dangerous to others, and once that's not given, it becomes very morally reprehensible to cancel somebody. I agree. Like, if you look at somebody like, say, Jeffrey Epstein, that was the one of the instances where something like a Me Too movement would apply, because Jeffrey Epstein was a monster who honestly probably deserved public lynching for even half of the unspeakably vile crimes that he committed. Or who was it? Weinstein? I can't remember what his first name is. Like there was Jeffrey Epstein and then there was Weinstein. And I can't remember his first name. I'm sorry. Like, he was another guy, like, who needed to be exposed. And it was, if even 3/4 of the people in those instances were lying out their asses, the remaining quarter who were being honest still painted the picture of a man who deserved the death penalty. But here we have, and again, this woman has just destroyed her own argument, because this is Lily herself. And I was hesitating to speak out about this because after the whole document was released, Lily did something like 3 or 4 hour live stream. And she basically managed to muddy the waters horribly in that event, and a whole bunch of people on the Discord who had previously believed her document were listening to the live stream, and I was not able to fully listen to the live stream, and I have not had a chance to listen to the live stream yet. I came in about 2 hours into the live stream, and within 10 minutes I was posting on the Discord that she needed to shut up, because what she was saying just contradicted her own document, and the way she was talking was completely and totally unconvincing in every way. And so Lily went from having a very plausible argument that I genuinely believed when I first read her document. I believed she was fully telling the truth. I did not believe her, emotional justification at the start of the document, but in context with the screenshots and everything, I believed her completely. I believed that she was assaulted. I believed that she had perfectly reasonable justification for it. I believed that she was scared into silence and so on. That all came across as convincing to me. But then, and I am a skeptical person. I am not on board the believe all women movement or anything. And I still had criticism for the way that she handled it. I felt that she was emotionally immature and she was very stupid for the way she acted. But I did believe her when she said that she had been assaulted. But then later on, after my stream, she went on a stream herself. And she began talking about this assault that took place. And the way that she talked about it just made no sense. It was very much a, oh my goodness, what is wrong with me and what is names at the moment? What was the name of that, black footballer who said, the MAGA country guy? Jesse Smollett, Jesse Smollett. She sounded just like Jesse Smollett, honestly. She was talking about this thing that she claimed to be traumatized by in this Really dull, kind of bored, monotone. Yeah, guys, I was absolutely assaulted. Oh, look at this guy. Isn't he just terrible? Like, he's not even willing to say that it was sexual assault. Oh dear, doesn't he realize what a trauma that he has put me through? It's disgusting. Oh dear. And that just made me think, no, sorry. It doesn't matter. You've lost the public eye. You've lost the public acceptance here. Just please stop. Just please stop talking. Please stop. She could have left it at the Twitter post, and everything would have been on her side. Oh, Jesse Smollett was a gay actor, not footballer. I'm sorry, I apologize again. These people kind of blend together in my head because they occupy that same mental cabinet of liars who have tried to get people on their side publicly through stupid activities. And I didn't want to say anything yesterday about it because the stream was not archived, and Lily claimed that she would release the VOD of it later on. And I didn't get a chance to archive Lily's VOD, and I intended to make a whole thread on Torah, and I did not want to do it until I had a archive of Lily's VOD. Are we talking about Mizu's post again? Yeah, I've just gotten, Oko, I've just gotten to the point where Lily replies to this, the twed, the twed? Guys, I'm very sorry. It's coming up to full moon, and so I'm very much affected by the full moon for some reason. It always makes me more absent-minded and just a bit mentally stranger than normal, so I'm just randomly forgetting things sometimes. The moon gives me Alzheimer's, guys. The moon gives me Alzheimer's. So we fortunately now have the VOD. The VOD is out there. It is currently there is a Google Drive of the VOD, and I have now converted the VOD into a fairly low quality MP3 because she doesn't use any like references or anything. She just talks about the accusation. She goes over she goes over Kura's document that he released, but I mean, she reads it aloud and everything, so there's no reason to have the video as well. So I've got a full copy of the VOD, and I have a MP3 of it, which is obviously far smaller. I think it's something like 20 megabytes or so. So now I can complete the thread in maybe on Friday, because I have partially completed the thread already. But a thread about this whole load of nonsense will go live before the end of the week. No, that's just British people, I agree. Where can I find the MP3? I've not uploaded it yet. I will just go and check. Where did I put it exactly? Is it in my videos file? Yes, it is. It's Lily VOD. Oh, it's still 116 megabytes. So let me see. Oh, I will see if I can upload it. This might mess up my stream, but I doubt it. Let me go to my drive. I will just upload that to my drive, the Torah Kura archive, and this might affect my stream quality, but I doubt it. We'll see. If my stream starts dropping frames or anything, then tell me, but I don't think it will. So Murray, I will link you to that MP3 when I think I said MP5 earlier. No, it is not a submachine gun. But I will link you to that archive as soon as it's done uploading in a couple of minutes. Yep, it's almost a quarter of the way done already, so that's good. But yes, Lily replied to the tweet that was put out by the Under the Tea podcast commenting about it. And she says, first off, I was not a fan. He was my friend for a year at that point. Your behavior is appalling. Get well soon. And then she posts this image here of showing results for is a kiss on the cheek sexual assault. Oh wait, this actually is hilarious. Look at this. Look at this. She actually made a typo. Because it says search instead for is a kiss on the cheek sexual assault. That just adds a bit of spice to this whole nonsense cake. That's the cherry on the top of this Sunday here. That typo I just find hilarious. Sorry, I had to adjust my position. So she claims, basically, her entire argument is that she was sexually assaulted because typing in "is a kiss on the cheek sexual assault" into Google search results in the National Sexual Assault Hotline popping up. You can Google is empty blank sexual assault, and it will do the same thing. Yeah, precisely. This is exactly what the podcast replied under here. Yes, that popped up because you typed in the word sexual assault. A kiss on the cheek is not and will never be sexual assault. Your behavior has been appalling and demeaning to real victims of abuse. You mean the one, and here's somebody, Danny Darkcat, I don't see my story in this collection. Weird, isn't it? And again, you mean the one where everything was completely consensual and your only actual issue was the fact he didn't stay with you? Is he a scumbag for that? Yes. That's why we said he's a creep and a sex pest. But to be honest, you're mad you got dumped and that's all that happened. The following media contains potentially sensitive content. This woman has posted nudes on her account. I have no idea what this is. Sometimes Twitter can be a bit weird. So let me just check what she just posted here. It's probably just a meme, but I want to be careful. No, it's just this. Why? I don't know. Yeah, this woman, Yukihime, is another person that called out Taro and said, oh no, he was a terrible, dreadful person. Yeah, she's posted nudes of herself on her own account. She has a post that says, "I'll post a nude every 500 likes that this initial nude gets." So yeah, she has absolutely no right to say that Taro was being creepy towards her when she is actively posting nude imagery of her own body on Twitter for creepy men. I mean, the audacity of these women is truly and genuinely astonishing to me. Can't wait until you get to the lawyer who says you can revoke consent after it's over. It's all so tiresome. It is just so unbelievably tiresome. It's just a kiss on the cheek. She's acting like he beat the S out of her. I know. I mean, again, I think that Lily has full justification to feel bad about what happened to her because she was a young woman. She describes herself as introverted. She says this was the first time away from her parents. And her first experience away from her parents was to meet up with a man who she thought she was going to be intimate with, who then said, "No, girl, I'm being with somebody else. Goodbye." So I can understand feeling really upset and really angry, and I think, honestly, if she had just said that, then the same result would have happened. Like, Torah would have been ousted by the community. He would have been probably cancelled. People would have said, "Hey, dude, that's not right," and he might have even deleted his account in the end anyway. It is this stubborn insistence that she was assaulted, that something really dreadful and traumatic happened to her, when it very obviously didn't. There is absolutely no argument that it did. Unless Laser, like the guy that she says rescued her from Taro, comes out and says, "No, I was there, he was on top of her, and he was kissing her, and it was dreadful, and I feared for Lily's safety." In that case, that reframes the narrative a bit, but as it stands, there is no reason to believe Lily at all. And it's just like I said in my original stream where I had that like disclaimer at the top of it, "Be community TM." I just wish people were slightly less hateful towards those whom they chose to have a relationship with. People seem to forget that after claiming she felt weird around him, she slept on the couch with him. That's actually a very good point, that after all this happened, she didn't leave the room, she didn't run away, she didn't try and have somebody, she didn't go and get a hotel room, or she didn't ask, say, Laser if she could sleep in his room and he slept on the couch. No, she went to sleep on the same couch with the guy she claims just traumatically sexually assaulted her. It makes no sense. It makes no damn sense at all. And the more she talks about it, the more ridiculous it gets. But honestly, everything that Lily is saying just pales into absolute insignificance. Because what spawned from this drama is this. It's the akarui accusation. Everyone coming out with their side of the Torah situation helped motivate me to write this. This is my experience with Smooshified. Content warning for pedophilia, sexual content, manipulation. Please be cautious. Now, do I have this saved? Yes, I do. Good. Because she has been caught live editing this document several times, and it was about, was it about 12 hours ago that I first caught it? I know that she had edited it at least slightly by that time, so I immediately... This is something that I want to emphasize to everybody. If you ever see any of these kinds of things happen, always archive the Google document instantly. In fact, let me just put that on screen for a second. There, just to be absolutely clear, this is what you should do immediately. Whenever you see one of these Vtweeters come out with a document, remember, they can edit the document, and if you don't have editing privileges, you cannot see what they changed. Unless you are physically looking at the document at that time, they can change anything they like. That's why I save these documents and I use versions that I've saved earlier to read out on stream, because when I go back like hours later or even days later, they could very easily have changed stuff. That's why you should always archive them the moment you see them. According to her, she only realized this was Seg's assault after her Discord friends put it in her head. Yeah, exactly. And this, like with the Lily case, it's clear that she didn't even really think about it until much later on. And I'll actually swap these around here. The chat can go over there. And I'll just move this around to up here. Archive everything. I agree. The go full page thing that I use, the attachment for Chrome and Brave, that's extremely useful. I use that on all the Twitter threads so that nobody can edit, delete, or block me, so that I can't see what they're fully doing. I've noticed I'm definitely getting attention in the indie VTuber scene, because now I'm seeing blocks every so often when I try and look at various posts. It seems like quite a few seething V-tweeters have me blocked already, which I find highly entertaining. And somebody was saying, I'm very irritating. I find it very irritating. I am not on any lists yet. And it really frustrates me that all the people who are trying to get me on lists, like I know at least 2 V-tweeters have like added something like the VTuber block list or whatever it is. I can't get on that list yet because all of these V-tweeters are just absolute nobodies who are doing it for clout. So I have yet to successfully manage to get cancelled by anyone big, and it really frustrates me. Like, it's almost as if like Kirsha's literal Who shield is rubbing off on me, that I can't seem to get noticed enough. Azihara has gotten cancelled. Azihara has gotten cancelled on Twitter, but I can't manage it. It's really depressing to me. I will not consider my success on the internet complete until I have been cancelled on Twitter. And it's really irritating that I've been doing my best to get cancelled and nobody is cancelling me. Okay, if you're an anti, if you're a Proctor anti out there, please cancel me, all right? Like, I'm begging you. I am begging you at this point. Call me up. We could work on the document together, okay? I am more cancelled. Skill issue. Oh. Oh my goodness, I've just looked back at the Discord. Cubanodum says this is 53 pages of he is cheating on me. Oh my goodness, this is the revived... Yeah, I think this is good Monday material, the revived Selene experience, because good grief, that document is 9 megabytes large. Oh my... You don't know how good it is to be unknown until your site's getting DDoSed every waking hour. I mean, yeah, that's true. Proctor, you were kind of cancelled with me since I follow you and you follow me. That's true, I suppose. It's just not the same until I've been cancelled on my own terms, all right? It's just not the same. You have to experience it. It can't be somebody's sloppy cancellation seconds, okay? Why am I being mentioned in the Pippa posting? Oh yeah, for those who don't know, I banned Ridicule on the forum. Because Ridicule made yet another really creepy and disturbing post about Pippa. Let me just read it out. Let me just find it and put it on the thing for a second. Pippa is female, didn't he get? Never heard V say that. He posts so much. He posts so much. There it is. I found his post. 1 second. I'll just put it on screen before we get onto this, because yes, Ridicule has now been banned. And this is the post that finally got him nuked. I just want to know everything of her meats as well as her mind. You do know you can converse while you measure each beautifully precious finger and feel the contour of every knuckle, seeing the glorious glisten of her nails and the loving shape of the pale satin palm. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna... I'm very sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that. Oh, somebody's gonna clip that, but I don't know, it was worth it. It was worth it. I'll just turn that text off for now. Yay, meat! Could you not read it like that? The audio version hits different. Look, I'm not trying to encourage anyone ASMR time. Please don't do that again. Oh, don't worry. There's some interesting parts of this new document that we're about to cover. And it's gone. Where is it gone? No. Oh, no, we get to that later. Okay, we get to that later. Let me just check something very quickly. We're good. We're good. Excellent. This is what I've dealt with during my time spent with Smoshified/Smunchified around October 2023, and all I've been dealing with afterwards. I truly believed that I loved him at the time, and that he felt the same way, leading me to ignore every single red flag that I saw. I was, and still am, extremely scared to post this, but the trauma has gotten worse the more I keep it private. I have constant flashbacks of everything he did with me, my stomach twists, and I feel nauseous, and everything's gotten so bad that it's begun to affect my sleep, health, and my ability to interact with others on a closer level. I was convinced that doing these things was what I wanted, and at the time, I had just wanted to do what I could to keep the attention and affection he was giving me, even if it meant being uncomfortable. Yes, woman moment. I've never written anything like this before, nor have I had to, so I apologize if this is poorly put together and all over the place. I was very afraid of posting this, because he seemed like a very kind individual even in DMs, and also because he may have saved sensitive photographs of me that I am afraid he would publicize in retaliation. Trying to find his messages that showed who he truly was, and even writing this now, I've broken down into tears and tremors, so much so that I had to be in a Discord call with my closest friends for emotional support. I don't even know if the screenshots and messages I have even count as evidence, which is why I haven't spoken up sooner until now. I used to raid his channel on Twitch, and he would be so kind whenever I did. Why? That's what initially drew me towards him and eventually developed a crush on him. Why? Raiding etiquette on Twitch and YouTube is that you thank and call out the person and shout out the person that joins your stream. You say nice things to them because they just did a nice thing to you. Did they say, oh, I hope your day was nice. I really hope you have a good time. How was your stream? Oh, it's really nice. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Everyone go subscribe to such and such channel. Let me pin it for a while. Like, that's standard etiquette. Every good Twitch and YouTube person does that. What have I been pinged for? How's writing up the Torah thing going? He's not even watching. I was 19. He was 34 at the start of our friendship/relationship. I initially told him I was 20 because I was afraid that he wouldn't want to talk to me if he knew I was younger, despite it only being 2 months until my 20th birthday. I mentioned this because I know it was my mistake to lie. Still, he talked, interacted, and flirted with me, knowing I was much younger than he was. In his public Discord and his Twitch twat? Sorry. He would never give me too much attention, which gave way to me being more desperate for his affection when alone and in DMs. Chat, why can't I get a woman like this? Yes, 1 year makes all the difference. She's basically a child. I mean, from the way she acts and talks, definitely. Like, even Null has managed to get, like, insane femcells desperate for his, his little Slovenian. I think he's in Slovakia or something. Yeah, another desperate woman. I mean, I have no idea what this woman looks like, but I mean, he obviously thought that she was pretty enough to we'll get there. You sure you want that man? Look, you don't quite understand. You don't quite understand. I was raised in a very conservative Christian household, okay? I was warned many times by my parents that I needed to be careful, that I needed to preserve my virginity, which I still am. And I still think it's a good thing. I do not intend to sleep with any woman who is not my wife. However, it was kind of funny because I was raised on all of these stories of Christian men who had been aggressively pursued by non-Christian women and had, like, given in and destroyed themselves. And so, you see, I was homeschooled as well. So when I went to college, I was like, I'm going to have to really be on my guard because, you know, there are dangerous people out there. And yeah, I went through all of college and, you know, nothing happened. I didn't seek anything and everybody was just like, hey, yeah, it's chill, isn't it? And nowadays, I'm just like, it's a really strange feeling. It's a really weird feeling, as if Proctor was told not to stick his dick in BPD. Yeah, I was, and I agree. But it's just weird to me how there are people with much worse prospects than me who manage to find these women and have these women find them, and yet I've never had that happen to me. And it's just weird. Again, it's not as if I would reciprocate if it happened, but it almost feels as if I'm missing out on something. Proctor, what teaching method did your parents use? The whip, regularly. No, basically, I got, to be honest, it's so long ago I barely even remember, but I was taught how to read, and, well, I could read when I was 3 years old. I could read quite fluently when I was 3 years old. And to the point where, like, my parents briefly sent me to school for about 2 or 3 years. And first of all, because I was autistic and I had a lot of sensory issues and so on, I just couldn't handle school, especially Irish public school with a lot of, there was a lot of bullying and so on. And so the teachers just said, you know, we can't handle this child, because I was extremely intelligent as well. Because I'd been given a very good early start. I could recite the alphabet as soon as I could talk, and I could read by the time I could go to school, and so that set me apart from everybody else. So I was very frequently bored in school. I mean, this dude is in LA, you're in Mumshite, Ireland, he has more options. Yeah, I agree. Women can smell autism. Homeschool buddies, hell yeah. It's I would never ever let any of my children, if I ever have them, to go to school. They are all going to stay home and be educated by my church in my community. They are not going to school. You talking about your mother probably evaporates any thoughts in the vicinity. But yeah, I was in school very briefly, and then my mother just realized, hey, you need to come out of school, otherwise you are either going to develop many psychoses if you don't go there. And she educated me at home. And I have never once felt disadvantaged for not having a mainstream education. Every single thing that I have ever needed in life, I could teach myself very quickly and very easily if it was something that would have been covered in school. And yeah, look at the kind of things that school children get themselves into nowadays. Homeschool is just objectively better if you have a parent who is even just a couple of IQ points above the norm. In fact, I think there have been professional studies done on homeschooled children and found that it takes roughly 3 hours a day for a parent to teach their child as much information as they would during an entire school day. In fact, it's vastly better. The one-on-one teaching is vastly superior to the school system. And there's a whole argument. I can do a stream on education one day because I've read a lot of stuff about education. It's like my best friend Alex says, the two worst things that a parent can do to their child is 1, mutilate their genitals, and 2, put them through the American public education system. And yeah, he is a man who is now an economist, and he is an insurance salesman and a structured settlement broker who probably makes more than any 5 people in chat have done in their entire lives every year. Question, are any of these women fatherless? I would say a good portion of these women are fatherless. But anyway, let's not get too tangenty on this. Let's continue this wonderful read. Unfortunately, it's not too long either. The Lily document was very long, and apparently the revived sin or whatever document is over 52 pages. Good grief, that's going to be a marathon. Where did it go? I started flirting with him as a joke. Just little things like, I must have died because I see an angel in his chat. Oh my goodness, this is so cringe. As I do with nearly all my friends. His age was never, and most likely still isn't, public information, but I had assumed he was in his mid-20s. Wait, his age was never and most likely still isn't public. But she said, literally a paragraph before, she says, I was 19, he was 34. So what the hell is she talking about? She's literally just doxed his age right there. But I had assumed he was in his mid-20s. He seemed like he was such a kind and gentle person. I had never met anyone like him before, so I had kept coming back to his channel. I ended up joining his Discord, and everyone else was so nice. He began DMing me first, sending compliments right from the start. We started talking every day, flirting, complimenting each other, and sending cute gifs. I even tried to draw fan art of our VTubers together, my character kissing his, and even fan art of us together when he showed me his face. There were many times throughout our DMs where he expressed interest and desire in having sex with me, to which I reciprocated because I thought it was something I would want as well. We're kind of seeing the gaslighting language come out here. He's kind, sweet, there was no reason. Why should I refuse, right? The vast majority of our DMs ended up being sexual in nature, with him telling me repeatedly that he was a perv, needy, and a sexual person by default. Yeah, he's a man. All of which he had never expressed publicly. Yes, he's a man. Well, I say he's a man. A lot of men are depressingly eager to share their sexual thoughts online, in public, haha tales, etc. And would even send me art images of young and petite anime girls in lewd or NSFW poses. Every day that we talked, he would give me compliments and tell me how cute, pretty, and how much of his type I was. He would constantly tell me how turned on I made him, text me through Discord while he jerked off, etc., all while knowing I was around 14 years younger than him. Yeah, this is woman regret. I agree. The framing of this is so bad. It's just so it's just so stupid. Again, if you know that this guy is jerking off to you and you want to have sex with him, Like, the point of saying no has already passed, darling. Important to note here, the guy in question uses a female lowly VTuber model, so this is very much something she should have seen coming. Yeah, exactly. This guy, regardless of what you think of him, ignorance is not an excuse when it comes to her, which is even more absurd considering where this goes. Women. I've gotten far too much use out of that, like a TF2 animation. Here's where things get fuzzy, as it occurred in person. Even if you choose not to believe it all, I'm begging you, please read it. Oh no. We ended up arranging a day to meet, and I bought us movie tickets to see the Barbie movie. Because it was something fun that he hadn't seen before. We met up, we got coffee, explored the mall we met up in, bought snacks, and went into the theatre. It was empty at the start, so almost immediately I was pulled into his lap and kissed. He was getting handsy, but I told him that I didn't want anything to go too far because we were in a theatre. There were cameras, staff looking out for that kind of thing. I felt gross being sexual in such a public place. I never considered myself a slut or a whore or too lewd. My darling, my sweetheart, my ragtime gal, you have just spent the last 2 paragraphs talking about how you spent months flirting in DMs, how you let this guy send you porn of characters who looked like you, how you let him jerk off to you and text you about it and had no problem with this. And now you're saying you never considered yourself too lewd. Proctor, look in VTuber discussion, by the way. I'll just have a glance. I was waiting for a proc to let me know if he wanted me on. 1 second. I will ask you on in a little while after I'm done reading this. That's okay. Yeah. But I felt disgusting and dirty. As people trickled in, I ended up sitting in my seat next to him, and we watched the rest of the movie. After the movie, we explored the shops a little more, looking through one of them because Smoosh saw a crop top on a mannequin and wanted to see me in it. We didn't find it, much to his disappointment, and left. Here's where things get more triggering. So I'm so sorry to mention all this, but I wanted to add as much as I could remember. I had protested the renting of a hotel room due to various factors, but ended up getting told that he was fine, he loved me, we didn't have to do it, but it would be fun, etc. The entire duration of walking through the mall, he would mention how cute I looked, how I was his perfect type, and how turned on he was even while we walked. I was overly happy from being able to meet him and hug him and cling to him all the time that I ended up saying, okay, after all, he was so nice, what could warrant me saying no? Like, the manipulative language here is off the charts. You're saying that you had what amounts to the perfect date. That he was nice to you, he was loving to you, he was trying to get you to buy sexy things that he thought would look would look amazing on you. And then, sorry, I'm stimming. I'm literally stimming. I apologize. I'm finding things to mess around with my hands. And then you use this as justification. YouTube, I went out of my way to click the notification bell on this specific stream. Why doesn't it do anything? And don't ask why YouTube is like this. We drove separately to a hotel, and he went inside by himself to book the room, something he would do 2 more times through the course of my visit, leaving me by myself for a moment so that the hotel staff wouldn't see me, looking as young as I was with a man who looked so much older. In our DMs, I had playfully mentioned that some people might think I was his daughter. When we went to the room, he wasted no time, and we ended up doing it. I remember briefly talking about lube, and he said we wouldn't need it. I was on birth control, and he was overtly excited at the idea of not using protection. During it, he would often use a mating press on me very often. But me being so much smaller than him, he would end up half crushing me while he used my body to get off, often including terms like breeding me, mentioning how much I liked it, don't I, and even asking me if he was my good boy. I would hug him while I spaced out, just waiting for it to be done. I didn't even have the sense to ask myself why I was doing this and allowing him to do this to me. Afterwards, we ended up just talking about things, which was when he told me his name for the first time, along with how old he actually was. Girl, are you for real? Are you for real? Are you for real? Oh my goodness. Are you actually joking? You know what? Oh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Just give me a moment. I want to confirm something in the Discord. My brother in Christ, keep the RP in your DMs, please. She got plapped before even getting his name. Wait, she didn't know his name? By the way, my name is Chad Thundercock. Again, this is just so ridiculous. This is just so completely ridiculous how they had sex, and they had sex in like multiple positions, but she didn't know his name. And again, this is was she calling him by his VTuber name? I just don't get it. How can you do this? How are you like this? What is wrong with you? Sorry, somebody just posted something in the Discord. I'm gonna put this on stream. This man really got to hit it from saying thanks for the raid. I mean, she raided him, and he raided her back. You can't say, it's etiquette. It's etiquette. It's etiquette in VTuber circles that if somebody raids you, you ought to raid them back. It's just that he went one step further. He raided her in real life. When you're freaky in the DMs, but she finally comes over. From snippets in the thread, she regrets her Ego double piece. Let that be a lesson to everyone to keep up the basic niceties. The sex was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. She thought she raided him, but then she let him raid her womb. Oh, I can't. This is just so stupid. When she raids him, but he pillages her. He misspelled it and railed her instead. Ow. Ow. I just felt something go pop in my... Ow. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, these people aren't real. I say that far too up. No, that's not the one that I want. Where the hell's he got? Oh, there it is. I don't remember all of our conversation, but he mentioned being accused of being a pedophile and lolicon before due to his petite VTuber avatar, to which I told him that it was stupid and the avatar was just petite. Okay, now this is where we get really silly, because this is the whole thrust of her cancellation, that he is a child enjoyer. I'm guessing the entire day she called him Smosh. Proctor, you're getting old. Look, I'm 31. So what are we going to do? I have no idea, but I didn't expect to get this far. Did she call her smooshy wooshy while flirting? Sorry, just let me have a drink of water, because oh dear. The next day, we met again. We went to an Asian market and brought snacks and onigiri. After the market, he went to his brother's place to hang out. Sorry, I just did something and I completely lost my place. As he had no place of his own at that time. He showed me his stream setup and his bed, which included a large NSFW body pillow of a lowly mouse VTuber. When I expressed my concerns and discomfort with it being lolicon, he protested and said it was a mouse. It's supposed to be petite. Then repeatedly told me how nice it was and to touch it, to which I declined several times, but finally gave up and just simply flopped down on it. Agreed, then got up just to get it over with. He went into the living room to watch TV, and he was extremely handsy with me the entire time, groping my chest, thighs, and sliding his hands into my shorts, along with seating me on his lap while we ate our onigiri. Oh, just for reference, this is the dakimakura that she's complaining about. Let me move chat over a bit so you can see. There we go. I think the cancellation was from his thrust, actually. His avatar is 100% lolly. Yeah, let me just go over, while you are looking respectfully. So which one of the brats of the four was this? Let me just go to the general thread and try and find out where exactly somebody posted his stream, because it's here somewhere. Please give me a moment. No, this is miles back. I really hate how Zenforo puts me in weird places on the forum. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So I will just... Apparently, there's another Daki of that tube that is NSFW on the artist Pixiv. Yeah, if you load into this page, there's like a split second where you can see it lewd before a censor like covers it. So, and obviously, I am not going to show the lewd one on stream. But yeah, here is his avatar and everything, by the way. Paste and go. Yeah, that's his avatar. That's Smoosh's avatar right there. So, Proctor subtly trying to add it to cart. No, I'm not interested in that. I mean, it is cute, I will say, but no, not my style. Sorry, too furry. This website recently purged NSFW, so this is not the cover she freaked out about. Yeah, but this is the avatar of the guy that she has been communicating with this whole time. And as you can tell, there is a distinct similarity between his model and this dakimakura. And at this point in the narrative, she's starting to go, oh, I'm worried that he might be a child enjoyer and all of that. But I mean, what excuse can you possibly have at this point for this? Yeah, we're down here. He mentioned that if his brother asked my age, to lie and tell them I was older than I was. I was confused as I already looked young and probably wouldn't be able to get away with saying I was too much older than I actually was. His brother had been out at the time but would be home later. He expressed his desire to do sexual things again, but was holding himself back as his brother's girlfriend was supposedly home. When his brother came home, I once again felt disgusted and uncomfortable with myself. I didn't want myself to be viewed as such a sex deviant, moments away from effing on a couch that wasn't even ours. We ended up going to another hotel, once more staying outside while he booked our room, and did it again. We stayed and talked for a few more hours before we headed back, but Smoosh ended up locked out of the house, as his brother forgot to leave a key before they fell asleep. I felt awful that he had to get another hotel to spend the night in after getting locked out, so I offered to come with him. Proctor has the Stampy Cat laugh. It's a dead rigger and has and the more apt comparison. Shut up. Shut up, Thrang. You're not getting your ASMR tonight. So, by now, we are up to 2 sexual encounters. No, actually 3, because they had sex in the hotel room, and then he took her back home, and then they were intimate on the couch, and then after that, let me just move chat back, there we go. Then after that, they went to hotel room again. Notice how she says, I was disgusted at having sex on the couch because his brother's girlfriend would be home, which is reasonable, okay. But the thing is, then she goes to a hotel room with him to have sex again. So it's very clear she just keeps effing like a rabbit. I know, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So she has the golden opportunity right here at the bottom of this paragraph to go, oh, I don't want to be with you because, you know, you have to get a new hotel room. I'll just go back to my hotel room. But no, she offers to go with him after she's already tried to say multiple times, oh, this is dreadful and awful and horrible and I feel so used. Like, what? What? Need a sippy? We left my car behind, parked on the side of the street, and since it was in New Jersey, he told me, wait, this is Kirscha's state. This is where Kirscha is. He told me I had to fill out some form to the police department telling them that I parked there overnight so I wouldn't get a ticket. I filled the form while he showered in the room. We talked, he ate his dinner. I wasn't hungry and felt awful that he spent so much money on me already. So wait, he is paying for all of this. So he is literally being a gentleman. He isn't even asking her to pay for anything. He's paying for things? This is literally the dream date for some women. What are you talking about? I think that Kirscha would approve of this date. And we went to sleep. I could barely sleep as it was extremely hot and the TV was left on, but I didn't want to move away for fear of waking him up. When morning came, I remember that he wanted to have sex again because he was turned on, but I was exhausted, extremely sore, and very sleepy. He ended up jerking off beside me, still in the same bed. The rest after that is somewhat fuzzy. He did end up convincing me that jerking off wasn't enough, and we did it one more time before heading back to his brother's place. As it turned out, there was a street sweeper that day, and my car got ticketed despite me filling out the forms. I didn't have a chance to look at it before he took off my car and pocketed it, offering to pay it since it was his fault he got one. I found it very kind of him to do so, but awful that he had spent more money on me yet again. After I went home, I told him I wanted to pay at least half of the ticket since it was still me that parked there. What? The audacity of this bitch. The audacity. Holy mixed messages, Batman. Should have known she was going to get dicked down from his stream rules. I try my best to give everyone who came by a good experience. That's my focus. Smosh sounds like a gentleman, unironically. Like this man has bought this woman multiple presents. He wanted to buy her like sexy things to wear. He took her out on a mall date. He bought things for her there. He offered to pay for the hotel. He paid for the car ticket that she got. I mean, this man is the perfect example of a good man in the current dating culture. And remember, like, let's assume for a second, let's steel man this and say that she genuinely was traumatized and hurt by all this in hindsight. However, even by her own accounting, and this is like with the Torah stuff. Remember how people said that Torah would be sexual with them, but then if they asked him to stop, he would and would leave them alone. He spent about $1,000 for some pussy. Good grief, if he spent $1,000. So yeah, people said that Torah would be sexual with them, but then would stop if they told him no. This man was sexual with this woman, okay, but there is zero evidence that she told him at any point to stop. In fact, both of the times where she said that she was uncomfortable, he accommodated her. Like, she says that she was three times actually. So at the theater, he tried things on, okay? Now, maybe he shouldn't have done that. Like, she said that he was handsy with her, like he tried to grope her and so on, and she was a bit skeeved out by that. Okay, that's understandable. But then, when she said she did not want to have sex at the theater, he didn't have sex at the theater with her. He held back, he didn't do anything further, and he made and rented a hotel for them. Okay, so that's one time when he has fully respected her boundaries. She has set boundaries, and he has respected them. Now, second, she goes to his home, and here he wants to have sex on the couch. All right? She doesn't. Once again, he respects her boundaries and buys her a hotel room instead. So that is 2 times that he has respected her boundaries. And then 3, he wants to have sex with her in the morning after sleeping. She says no. And again, he respects her boundaries. Now, the only thing that you can possibly say at this point where he has not respected her boundaries is when he convinces her that they should have sex in the morning, eventually. But even then, he convinced her. He didn't force her, he convinced her. As in, she gave consent. Proctor, she got community noted. I saw, don't worry, I saw. I just haven't refreshed yet. The Daki is better, 2D never betrays you. Oh dear. Where are we? Yes. So anyway, yeah, we are 3 for 3 on events where she has set boundaries in this sexual relationship, and he has fully respected those boundaries and gone out of the way to accommodate them, to make things comfortable for her. I was extremely distraught at the fact I lied to him and told him I was 20 when I was actually 19, but I was afraid of telling him because he still had the ticket, and I didn't want him to get angry at me and refuse to pay the ticket. When I worked up enough courage to tell him, he was completely fine with it, which I was dumbfounded to hear. I was prepared for him to be upset and angry, as we had talked so much about honesty. Looking back, I should have known something was wrong, because I feel that, in any normal circumstances, he should have been mad. A 34-year-old grown man and a teenager? I was an adult, but still. Ugh. Again, the audacity of this bitch. I forgot. Is she Californian? I have no idea. If she is, then somebody in chat is feel free to like post details or something. I ended up being grateful that he didn't get mad at me. We talked a little bit less and less, and he moved to Massachusetts and got his own place. I briefly recall him mentioning that he wanted me there, and that if I was there, he would be able to do sexual things to me all day without having to worry about anyone. Looking back, I wholeheartedly believe he had something for young-looking anime girls and petite virgins like I was. Finally, the Sugar TV situation. Smosh's community is 18+. My community is supposed to be 16+, as I had friends who were 17 when I first debuted. Because we would raid into each other, we started sharing communities, and a couple of his chatters would pop into mine. One of these chatters was Shugat.tv, a Babiniku adult male VTuber who roleplayed as a lolly mouse. I kept my distance from him because I personally don't like any character that looks too young, but he would talk on occasion in my chats. One of my fans/chatters who was under the age of 18 found a public link that Sugar had on their profile. They ended up clicking it and found that it contained various images of anime lolly porn. I was still streaming at the time, so they went to one of my mods, and my mod contacted me after stream. I was horrified and banned them immediately, then went to Smosh to warn him to ban them from his community as well. Though I was utterly shocked at how he reacted. When I approached Smoosh, and the first thing he mentioned was, "Who told you? If Sugar told someone that in confidence, I would need to see why that person told you." The screenshots are included for my full conversations with him. I desperately didn't want the sweet, kind person I thought I knew to end up being a Lolicon supporter, so I tried and tried to change his mind. Smoosh mentioned how since no one was getting hurt, it was fine. But again, a minor in my community saw Sugar's link, which was public for anyone to see. Please don't... blah, blah, blah. Now again, this just falls apart immediately on the slightest bit of... Yeah, maniacal foreigner. God forbid a man be attracted to youth and virginity. How horrible. Yeah, this falls to pieces at the slightest bit of analysis. So right up here, at the top, she says, my community is supposed to be 16+. Okay, that's entirely her right to say what her community should be. As I had friends who were 17 when I first debuted. But then, she says, I would raid into Smoosh. Smoosh's community is 18+. So she is saying that her community of 16-year-olds, or people, down to 16 years old, she was deliberately raiding into a community that is 18+. Bitch, you're on the internet of the year of our Lord 2024. Don't pretend like you've seen 100 times worse. Minor goes looking for porn and then makes it another person's problem. Precisely, Luminous. Oh dear, my wrist just clicked like mad. I was afraid he would get mad and then he didn't get mad, which is even worse. Her community better be well moderated or she is doing way more harm than him. Yeah, exactly. This is her fault. She deliberately took a community that contained minors and raided into a community that was 18+. She is the one at fault here. It is absolutely indisputable. And then one of my fans' chatters who was under 18 found a public link that Sugar had on their profile. They ended up clicking it and found that it contained images of anime lolly porn. The thing is, notice the weasel words here. She said public link. Now, the thing is, we don't know what that link is, and she doesn't reproduce it. Like, what she could have done to lend veracity to that is to screenshot that link so that nobody could click it, and then maybe, like, edit 1 or 2 letters so they couldn't find it, if she wanted to be extra careful, and then post it as a receipt. But she didn't. So it could very easily be that this fan of Smoosh's that she is calling out was posting that had a spoilered notice on his profile somewhere that said, hey, this is porn, don't click it if you're a minor, and this minor deliberately clicked it. Because that is entirely possible. Do we even know how old he is? I missed that. You mean Smoosh? 34. Just drop the link, share it with class. I mean, I can't because I don't know what it is, and I wouldn't anyway. Azahara, please stop cooming. I'm asking Azahara, that's impossible. So this person deliberately sought out pornographic material and then was mad when she found pornographic material. And then Smoosh reacts completely sanely for somebody who is running an 18-plus community. He asks in confusion why this is a problem. Why is somebody from this 16-plus community complaining about something that happened in his 18-plus community that they intentionally sought out interaction from? And this is where it's just... I desperately didn't want the sweet, kind person I thought I knew to end up being a lolicon supporter. Bitch, please. The audacity is astounding. Could maybe look up that Sugar VT person if they still have a Twitter. If you want to, Luminous, I don't really care either way. I have been beeped. If you want to... Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I just had to send a message to somebody. But yes, there is no context. This entire paragraph is completely meaningless. And as somebody said, that this post got community noted, so yeah. Oh, it already auto-updated. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. Akarui called this pedophilia because Smoosh bought a body pillow, or he had explicit pictures of anime characters. Both parties involved were well above the age of consent. There's no pedophilia or manipulation here, just an adult trying to infantilize themselves. And what are these links? Let's see what this one is. Archive. Oh, that'll take a while to open. Dizzy is getting power. Oh, I see. There's something in the Discord. Someone asked me what the issue in all this is. I am not sharing DMs of someone being cutesy to a girlfriend. I am sharing DMs of a man 15 years older than I am, constantly manipulating / grooming, love bombing, and showing predatory behavior. You are an adult. He is not being predatory towards you. You consented multiple times. A 34-year-old man and a 19-year-old man should never have had a relationship in the first place, regardless of me being an adult. Coercion through manipulation is not consent. He checked into hotels without me and made sure no staff saw us together. He asked me to lie if someone asked my age. He used me like a toy. None of that is okay. He knew what he was doing was wrong. The vast majority of our DMs is him purposefully being sexual with me, knowing I was young, and the only reason I had tried to reciprocate was to keep the attention that he would give me in private. It was not the same kind of attention he would give in public. He told me I was special, his type, and showered me with sweet words to keep me close to him. If this is not manipulation, it is grooming. No, there is nothing grooming about this. Sugar VT is banned. Twitter is banned by the Twitch and YT, though. Woman refuses to take responsibility for her actions. More news at 11. I know. What is that? There we go. Sorry. I just missed something. Whoops, Daisy. There we go. Sorry, I had to move my tabs around a bit. Yeah, her words make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Yeah, sorry, I was distracted for a moment. It sounds like he was flirting with her. I'm autistic and I can recognize it. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with what he has done here. Because she initiated things. She was the one that raided him. She stuck around. And he entered her DMs, okay. But at no point did she say that this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this. And then she says, he told me I was special, his type, and showered me with sweet words to keep me close to him. What man wouldn't? Like, if I have a girlfriend, I am definitely going to tell her that she is special, and I am going to shower her with attention. I'm definitely, if I have a girlfriend, then by default, she's my type, okay? I'm not going to go out and get a girlfriend who shares no interest with me, who is completely different from me and is not my type. If someone took me out and treated me like he did her, I would cherish the memory for the rest of my life. Yeah, all of this reads as a vicious, manipulative reframing of all of this information, of all of these events. That he was nice to her. He was, if you look at it without the manipulation, he spent about $1,000 on her probably. He was nice to her at every turn. They were lewd in DMs, and she reciprocated his attention. She never told him to stop. She never told him to back off. She gave her consent every time they had sex. And additionally, remember, like going back to it, she set the terms for every sexual interaction they had. Every time she said, I feel uncomfortable with this, I don't want to continue, he backed off and arranged things so that she was more comfortable with him to have sexual relations with her in future. He bought a hotel for her twice. She followed him to new hotels. You know, he accepted it when she said she wasn't ready on the theater, on the couch, and in the third hotel. The only time when there is any question whatsoever of there being some kind of issue with consent is when he talked her into having sex with him after jerking off the first time, when she said she wasn't interested. And again, she says that she was convinced, ergo, she gave her consent. Now, maybe he was really pushy, in which case, you know, that's not a particularly nice thing to do, but it's not molestation, it's not rape, it's not assault, it's nothing like that, because again, she gave her consent, she was convinced. If a girl did all this for me, I would put out. Azahara, you would put out for just about any woman, let's be honest, and probably a few men too. I keep saying she is not a woman, get plapped. She posted a bit more down here, I'll just look through it. He wanted my Snapchat so that neither of us would have to worry, meaning if anyone saw our DMs, then prodded for a chest pic hours later. So when are you taking this spot? Also, you got a Snap or something? Right now, I am on my way. Snap is in Snapchat. I never use it, but I do. Is that something you'd be more comfortable with, or is it a hassle? Body so empty must cling? I can pick it back up if you want to chat there more and stuff. Let me get it set up again. If you prefer, and you know, neither of us ever have to worry. I'm going to have to verify chest again. Like, this does not say, before anyone asks, yes, he did ask if Snapchat would be more comfortable for photos. He asked this weeks in, at which point I would have pretty much done anything. I barely knew him a month. Thankfully, nothing happened on Snap. I was never active in the first place. What are you saying? This is once again, I never use it, but I do, equals thought, luminous. Yeah, I agree. Lies, I have standards, kinda. Plap. Yeah, once again, this is nothing more than a very manipulative reframing of events. I mean, I'm not sure if her DMs do make things different, like supply additional context to all of this. But again, if you prefer and you know neither of us ever have to worry, the implication I think here is that he was trying to get her to send him nudes or something, but he never says this. And look at the way that she responds. My body, so he sends her this chest pic, you know, which is completely SFW. Is that something you'd be more comfortable with, or is it a hassle? So he is, again, so everything we have heard so far paints this guy as, he's a very sexual person. He's obviously got a very high sex drive. There's no doubt about that. Like, he wants to have sex with her in a lot of different positions, in a lot of different places. So I can understand if she doesn't have a similar sex drive to him, and so she finds it hard to keep up with him. That's fine, but look at the way he's talking. Like, he's saying, would this be comfortable for you? And then look at how she responds when he posts that chest pic. Body so empty must cling. So she's not saying, oh wow, you went a bit far, oh, or a kind of non-committal, oh, well, I suppose that's nice. No, she immediately is fully into it the moment he posts that image. Yeah, surely no guy does this with someone they are in a relationship with. Yeah, if I was in a relationship with somebody, I would definitely be sending them pictures of myself. Like, I would not be sending them nudes or lewds or anything, but, you know, if I was wearing a nice suit or something, I'd be like, hey, you know, I thought I looked good in this. What do you think? So that was the next thing. They said they wanted to marry him. I knew him for less than a month. To everyone calling me retarded, this is why my comments are off. I'll say it here too. Please stop referring to me as a woman. I mentioned this before as well. It's hurtful on top of everything. And then she uses this once more, this ridiculous piece of manipulation. How different would it be if I was 17 and he was 32? Or if I was 15 and he was 30? If I was 5 and he was 20? Just because I'm an adult, that gives people the right to treat me like an object. With how much you mentioned you were a pervert, how much you wanted to do to me, and how handsy you were with me, you're protesting that you weren't seeking sex? Is that supposed to make me feel better / Jen? Then again, I'm not a woman. Please stop misgendering me. This is the most insane doc I think I've ever seen. I quite agree, Thrang, that the manipulation levels, the BPD verbal diarrhea is just completely off the wall. So at this point, I'm going to send this to Kirsha. I want her opinion on this, because this is the kind of thing that she comments on constantly. How she constantly says that a man can be such a nice person to a woman. A man can be loyal, he can be affectionate, he can be loving, he can be intimate, he can be sincere, he can say that he wants exclusivity, he can say, you know, I love you, he can say, you know, woman, you're so hot, you turn me on, or anything lewder than that. In before this stream gets struck for transphobia and hate speech, I don't bloody care. Like, a man can do all of these things, and yet a woman can just go, no, I actually don't like this. You're a serial harasser. You are disgusting. This is all manipulative. You're actually an abuser, and just cancel you on Twitter. That's the power that a woman has in a modern day relationship, and this is why men like Smoosh are not common. I mean, this woman had sex with the guy a lot of times. For all we know, she could be the one treating the guy as a living dildo. Yeah, she can say she's not a woman however much she wants. She can't be unplapped. Yeah, that's a perfect point. I have no idea, because let's contrast this with Lily. Lily had a lot of stuff on her side, because I believed that Lily had been SA'd for quite a long time. Well, a long time in internet terms, like for at least a few hours until she opened her mouth again. So I believed that something nasty had happened. I believed that Lily had been manipulated. I believed that Lily had been abused. Because Taro was this weird, creepy sex pest with her. His attitude towards her was disgusting and really unpleasant. And I thought that, you know, she was pretty dumb to go along with him and expect to get a normal relationship with him. But this man, at no point has Akka mentioned another person. In no point in this thread has she said, oh, it turned out he was a cheating bastard, that he was talking to other women about sexual things at the same time that he was talking to me. Instead, she paints a picture of a man that any woman would be happy with, that any woman with a high sex drive. The only crime he seems to be guilty of so far is picking a woman with a lower sex drive than him who couldn't keep up with him. And that's it. That's the only crime that he has committed in this entire exchange so far. And at every event, she has consented to him. And then she goes on this bizarre argument how would it be different if I was 17 and he was 32? It would be different because it would be pedophilia, because you would be a minor and he would be an adult. Well, it would be, what's the stupid thing that all the men who justify pedophilia would say, oh no, it's not pedophilia. You see, pedophilia is when it is below like the age of 12 or something. When it's a teenager, it's what, inhibiphilia. Okay, please face the wall. But I mean, again, it technically, it's got a point. Like, it's not even pedophilia if she was 17, because, you know, she's not a child any longer at 17. She's still a functioning, you know, she's still a functioning biological woman at the age of 17. Like, the difference between 17 and 18 is not particularly large. So she can't say, oh, he was treating me like a tiny darling lolly and thought I was 12 years old. No. Okay, Cyrax, cool down. Sorry. It just really gets to me. It really irritates me when they make this stupid... The way they talk is so manipulative. Like, she's saying, oh... Also, again, I'm not a woman. Please stop misgendering me. Let me just go to her profile. Does she have, like, pronouns on what in bio? Because I'm pretty sure I went to her thing. Like, I'm Aka, level 20 impish landlord of Addo Entertain at your service, model/rig. Check below for tags/credit. Linktree, do not use my voice/OC for AI. So no, she doesn't have pronouns in bio. Please stop referring to me as a woman. Again, I'm not a woman. Please stop. And she's got a second community note here too. Proctor, Europe's gonna be upset that Americans don't know a 17-year-old, 11-month, 29-day-old is literally a child. Well, it is. Oh, sorry. What actually matters here is that both parties involved were above the age of consent when they first interacted. It does not matter that akarui used to be underage at some point in time, because everyone was underage at one point in their lives. Precisely. You know, the community note is very accurate. Landlord hate, I agree. We need to ban online relationships. I just have no words at how stupid this is. And it seems like, fortunately, that Smoosh, and again, I don't necessarily agree with everything Smoosh has done. I do think he was kind of stupid to not ask her age beforehand. Imagine if Community Notes said she was a woman. I mean, I'm pretty sure Smoosh would say she was a woman. But this bizarre thing, like, she, at no other point in the document does she say that she was non-binary or anything like that. And it's very obvious she presented herself as a woman to Smoosh. Where is it? This site took too long to respond. Okay, so I can't open that. This is annoying. So yeah, because Smoosh actually responded to all of this, and now we have a drink. 1 second. Let me just refresh this in case there's any more posts as well. On the matter of the individual throwing a warning over my head, disparaging me as a manipulator and the deceptive individual, I wanted to state facts. 2 adults consented, to which there was no indication of dissent nor discomfort. How could I know what you feel, lest you say so? And then he says, this is the Discord logs. Of course I know. I love you, I love you too, silly. I just want to make sure you understand like I understood you. I felt your feelings. I honor your wishes. I'm receptive to you, and I wanted you to be happy. It wasn't necessarily great we went for it, but if you want to keep being here, sharing these times and days with me, I'm here for you and I support you. Just be aware. What do you mean, though? I mean, I had a great time. I'd love to just be next to you again, but I hope you know I was older and you were younger. I should have technically kept my ground and not done anything. Yeah, like, I know that you're older and such, but it's really okay. I told you earlier, we're still both adults. Did you found her Ko-Fi where she asked for $8,000? CBM, post that in Discord, or post it on the forum and then tag me. I want to see that. Show me now. I need to see that. Smoosh is the supreme gentleman. Yeah, Smoosh just gets better every moment that I see this. I mean, I don't particularly like the fact that he uses like a lolly avatar, but there is nothing here that you could hold against Smoosh. Their hypocrisy knows no bounds. They would use an experience reinforced with positivity from its beginning, middle, and its shunted end as a means to garner sympathy from an audience that does not know the full story. I sympathize with you and understand your feelings are valid, but by no means would I try to lessen the hurt you're feeling. But to say I would retaliate, exposing you with pictures you truly do not even know... You truly do not know me even now. Aka was incredibly quick to warm up from the get-go. Let's have a look at the screenshot. That's a bit large, so I'll just open it up in this one. Thank you sincerely. If there's anything you know about me, if I get like this, it's because I'm comfortable and I trust you. I'm very up very often, but I hate being a bother to anyone, so I don't actually show. It makes me really happy to hear that, honestly. More so that you're comfortable, I mean. I really like being able to make people feel cozy and comfortable, especially if it's you. I'm even happier about it. I promise you I ain't ever pushy. Needy, absolutely. Pushy? No, it's fun to tease and flirt, but I like having someone I'm sweet on more. That being said... Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Like, my location? So I need to belch one moment. Undone by her own words, I agree. How did she ever think this would look good for her? Shit you could actually probably have Smoosh on stream. This shit is actually just sad. Yeah, I agree. I quite agree. Support Akarui on Ko-Fi. Okay, let me have a look at this. I'll just open this in my other thing to have a look at it. Oh, it says redirect. Wait, is Archive IS dead? Ko-Fi. Official. Let me try that again. Oh, there it is. Sorry, for some reason it redirected. Relief Fund, $8,000. What? Show more. Oh, so it's, Oh, so her car was totaled. All right. You know what? I'm not going to comment on that, really, because it seems to be for a legitimate thing. If it had been $8,000 for, oh, I'm so traumatized and in agony for the sexual assault that I endured, then I'd be very down on it. But no, that just looks fairly normal, to be honest, so I'll just leave it at that. Where's my tabs again? There it is. I promise you I ain't ever pushy. You really don't strike me as the person that would be. Don't worry. I'm within like 2 hours. I live in their location. Hell yeah, it's very nice up here. Well, I mean, we can continue to get to know each other. Maybe you will have to tour your arcade place. Okay, so this shit is actually just sad. This is blackpilling. I agree. Like, this is horrible. This guy, look at these, look at this, look at this. Like, so he says, I live in this location, and then she immediately says, I live within 2 hours of you. So she didn't ask him her location first. She had the opportunity to say no. She, without prompting, said that she lived very close to him. So he didn't coerce her. He didn't try and solicit that information. I'm not going to trust anything this person claims without solid proof at this point. I quite agree. There is zero proof. There's less than zero proof. Online women are liars. I mean, this is the sad thing, because I was raised by a very strong woman. I was raised by an incredibly honest woman, and I consider that to be the main reason why I am a woman respecter. I've always found it much easier, until I was in my late 20s almost, I found it far easier to talk to women than I did with men. I found it easier to relate to women. I found it easier to understand women. And I still think that to this day, I find it a lot easier to communicate with women than I do men. And I would naturally more enjoy talking to a woman than I would a man, because I feel it's easier to get more, it's actually easier to talk intellectually with women than with men, because you can have a good intellectual conversation with a woman, and with men want to prove themselves right all the time, whereas a woman is much more interested in an actual debate and an interchange of ideas, as far as my experience has been. And so I have actually found dealing with VTubers and women in the entertainment industry to be very blackpilling, because Kirsha has told me many times, you can't trust women on the internet. You can't, because especially women in the entertainment industry, because they are looking to get ahead. They are looking to take advantage of you. And I've pushed back on that on multiple occasions. I've said to her very plainly, I think you're being pessimistic. I think that your experiences do not represent the majority. I think that it's very sad that you have had so many bad experiences with women. Clearly, you and I have grown up around completely different women. And yeah, I have been perfectly blunt with her. I said, I don't think your opinions represent the majority. I think that it's sad. I think that your experiences are legitimate, but I don't necessarily agree with them. But incidents like this, I cannot lie, I cannot deny that Kirsha has a very good point, because here we see an absolutely clear-cut example of a woman who pursued a relationship consensually with a man. They were very into each other, very obviously. She was charmed by him, she was taken in by him. He has acted like the perfect gentleman towards her. He has been polite, he has been respectful, he has been repeatedly asking her in these DMs about her, like, consent levels, whether she found certain things comfortable, whether she was okay with certain things, and she has agreed, literally, consensually, explicitly, every single time. And then when they get together physically, again, I've gone over it 3 times at this point. Every time she set boundaries, he respected them without question. And she never at any point says, all of her argument is emotional. She says, oh, my body was going along with it, but my mind was elsewhere. I laid there and thought of England while we had sex multiple times. And it's insane to clout chase with this relationship, even if it went to shit at some point. Yeah, I mean, I'll admit, it's possible that they had a bad breakup. Like, we don't know if they had a bad breakup or something. Maybe he swore at her, maybe he was nasty to her. So that's possible. I'm not saying that Smoosh is a complete innocent in all of this. I think that he was a bit silly to go to be with a woman who was this young. But again, that was just like a risk that he took that didn't pay off. It's not something necessarily evil or disgusting or anything like that. Her hips moved on their own. Yeah, period. And this is a very blackpilling incident, and it proves that people like Kirsha are correct. Because this is a woman that is trying to exploit a man who, at worst, made a bad judgment call. My mind's telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. And the manipulative way that she is trying to frame him as a pedophile because he had a lolly-style dakimakura. And again, his point that this is a mouse. I mean, what is he supposed to have a dakimakura of, like, a 9-foot-tall, hyper-masculine mouse girl? And again, like, the dakimakura, it's pretty curvy, it's pretty thick. Like, those thighs are not the thighs of a child. If a child has thighs like that, they need to go on a diet urgently. Like, that's a child that's been raised on nothing but McDonald's. But no, there is no... Unless you were one of those insane people who is like, oh, any character that is under, like, 6 heads tall is automatically a child and is automatically, like child pedophile material, or, like, CSM, then there's no way you could view his dakimakura as, like, a pedophile's dakimakura. And even his VTuber avatar, Did I have it on? Yeah, even his VTuber avatar, even though it's quite childlike, I will admit, like those proportions are very obviously of a sexually mature person. It's of a petite character that's a bit short, a bit too short for my tastes, but again, it's obviously not supposed to be a child. There is no way you could say, oh, this is obviously a lolly. Like, it's got plenty of lolly features, but there's no way you can say, oh yeah, this is a lolly made to appeal to, like, pedophiles. Just come off it. Come off it. I don't know, looks lolly. I mean, yeah, you could argue that it is, but again, to me, even I, who does not like lolly characters very much, would say, you know, I don't like this, but this does not scream like something that was designed to appeal to lewd person. It's a lolly body type, and yeah, it is a lolly. Yeah, lolly does not equal child. Yeah, precisely. Where I draw the line is where people draw cartoon or draw hentai of lollies. I think that lolly hentai is a step too far. I don't like it at all in any context. I would rather people did not draw that kind of stuff. And if you consume it, if you proactively consume lolly hentai, and even more if you consume the kind of lolly hentai where the character is wearing like childish clothing and all of that, I'm sorry, I think there might be nastier stuff on your hard drive. But, you know, you have to set standards and you have to set boundaries. You can't witch hunt, because then you're just as bad as the Twitter freaks that say, oh, any kind of image of a character, like who say people like Sheena are lollies and are like advertising to predators. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. Like, save your energy for bigger and more obvious problems, okay? Have a little dignity. Consuming that type of content says something about this person consuming it. You've said it, yeah, exactly, Thrang. The exact same people who see anime pedophiles everywhere support things like transitioning children. Curious. Precisely. Yeah, it is very much a red flag, but not a smoking gun. I think that's what people forget. Yeah, I agree, Mama Oko. That's my opinion on it. I think that somebody who consumes lolly, like pornography, that's definitely a red flag. But again, it's not the same. It is not an equivalent of saying, oh, this person is the worst kind of person you can possibly be and should be instantly shunned from society and quite possibly lynched. Yeah. Unless you're Shadman. Oh, dear. I mean, that guy is just in a class all by himself. I'm sorry, I need to blow my nose. 2 seconds. I think the funny thing about Vaush is that that was also a lolly VTuber. I mean, is Matsuri even a lolly? Well, I think it was like lolly-style Matsuri art. Matsuri's character is kind of lolly. It was Matsuri. She's herself a lolicon. Yeah, Matsuri is a lolicon. Like, she's very... Matsuri... Again, I don't particularly like Matsuri because she's weird. She's very strange, and she's a bit too close to it being not a joke. Is Matsuri a lolly VTuber? My life is a lie. I don't think Matsuri's character design is a lolly. The Vaush thing came mere days after he tried calling Pippa a Nazi lolicon pedophile. It was great timing. But Shadman does childlike representation of actual children or people, which is effed. I agree, absolutely. Like, the stuff that Shadman drew, I don't think he drew actual like sexual material, but he like drew slightly lewd art of somebody's real life daughter. I forget if he actually drew porn of that person's daughter, but I'm certain that he did draw something about them. And that was disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, Shadman is a disgusting person. She's so hung up on age, bet she's an effing hypocrite and underage drinks. I thought she was just flat, but yeah, she herself is a goomer. Takadachi. And it's starting to rain. Wonderful. Let me just look through a couple more things. Proctor gets cancelled on Twitter by an XL women's. Oh, that's in relation to like this the Katie with the High Life girl. Oh my goodness! Like people can watch the last video if they want to see her content. But there was one more thing that I wanted to show. Where is it? Oh yeah, she was caught, as I said earlier, that she was caught live editing this document when she realized that people were criticizing her over it. And I do love this. This what is it? Gushing over magical girls. I feel like I should watch Gushing Over Magical Girls at some point. 50 minutes till Pippa. I mean, we're basically done. I don't think there's much more content to cover at this point. I'm starting to repeat myself a bit. Shadman's art arguably would break the DOS standard, and pretty much he's the only one to do that. The law says it has to be real people that are underage in the art for it to count. Fake lolly art, which breaks people's minds. 50 minutes to Rima also. Oh, what's Rima doing at the moment? I thought he did do straight up porn. I thought he did. I thought that I know he did like multiple things. I think at least one of them was porn. And where was... Yes, this was something that the glorious chat came up with. That anime is hilarious and itchy/lewd. Yeah, I know it's very lewd. But this was... Who made it? I think is it Sarcastic Madman who did this? Maybe not. Covering Seraphi thing. I might watch that, actually. So POV, you're about to get the best dick in your life, but first you have to pose for the lolly ducky. And to his credit, like, Smoosh has taken this the best way you possibly could. Smoosh is a archetype for dealing with cancellations on Twitter. What Smoosh has done, everybody should do. He immediately has provided receipts that prove that she was enthusiastically consensual, that she was the one that pushed a lot of stuff. Sorry, I'm gonna belch again. Oh, that was a big one. I do hate how drinking a lot of water for these streams always makes me belch. Smoosh, just streaming old Toonami like this wasn't even a thing today. Someone needs to explain to whoever made that he needs to put an outline around text so it can be readable. Yeah, maybe there should be an updated version of it. But, yeah, Smoosh unironically comes out of all this looking like an absolutely swell guy, I would say. I can find no fault with him. And once again, I want to emphasize, maybe there's more to this. Maybe someday we'll see that, oh, he did terrible things and awful stuff. But again, you need receipts. You need receipts. 5-star Yelp review on Sexy Time. Like, I would say that if Smoosh finds a woman whose sex drive can match his own, that they're going to be very happy together for a very long time. I'm in Anime Club listening to this with earbuds, and in the back room is some crazy Pentecostal screaming and speaking in tongues. Pentecostals are a real trip. Where else? Is there anything else? Oh, no, I've already covered that. Oh yeah, that was just the Henry stuff. And once again, we have the glorious meme. Man, having to store every single conversation you had with people in order to protect yourself. I hate modernity. Hashtag never believe women. I can find fault. His mouse dacky is mid. Smoosh is a gentleman, and I will say. Proctor Zakharov. Pentecostals are insane. I quite agree. But I think, with Pippa coming up in a few minutes, I'm probably going to end things here. This has been a fun stream, and once again, I feel very, very sorry for Smoosh that he had to deal with this, and he is very fortunate, honestly, that the material that was brought out against him is so completely and self-evidently wrong and false. And I think him just going on with his life as if nothing happened was the best way to do things, and he actually, I pinged him on Twitter. I added him on Twitter, and I gave him that meme that I just showed, and he actually followed me. Raid into Pippa. I can't raid people. Like I literally cannot raid people, guys. Let me just put it on screen so you fully understand. Okay. Like, just so we are very clear, I do not meet the requirements. Like, if you want me to be able to raid people, what you need to do is spread and share my streams so that I actually meet the requirements for being able to raid people. Like, you need, I think I need about 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to raid. In fact, let me just look it up. What requirements do you need to raid on YouTube? How to raid someone on YouTube. Available to creators with more than 1,000 subscribers and no community guideline strikes. So yeah, I need another 400. I think I need another 380 subscribers in order to raid. So yeah, you guys need to push me a bit more before I can raid people. As it is, of course, I can indeed just give me 1 second. You gotta have 1K. Yep. Let's just go to Pippa's stream anyway, so that I can dump you all there. Wait, where is Pippa? Is she on Twitch or is she on YouTube? Oh yeah, she's on in 20 minutes. So I will allow you people to filter on over there. Where is it? Here we go. No community strikes, it's so over. Maybe start dual streaming on Twitch? I have never tried to stream on Twitch. I might try to stream on Twitch because I enjoy the additional interaction on Twitch. Have a good night, Proctor. I'll tell you how the Crab Show, the podcast goes. That should be pretty interesting. Because I say a lot of naughty things on YouTube. Like, whereas Twitch is a lot more aggressive about policing speech. There's a lot of things that Kirsha can say on YouTube that she can't say on Twitch. So I'd be a bit worried about streaming on Twitch because it is entirely possible that I would get banned on Twitch quite quickly. Maybe I will look into Twitch streaming at some point. If you stream on Twitch, make your redeems the most annoying things ever. Maybe. Thanks for the stream. Yep, I appreciate all of you coming. I know that I don't normally stream on Thursdays, but this just seemed like such a juicy topic that I wanted to cover it. Have a good one, Proctor. Yep, I'm grateful for everybody coming and just laughing at this nonsense with me. And I love how a whole bunch of people are now posting like weird lolly characters in VTuber discussion. Good night to everybody. I will leave off for now. Thank you very much for coming. I want to meet Redeem if you do stream on Twitch. Please get hired by any color. Juicy. Good night, Twitch. Have a good evening. Yeah, have a good evening, everybody. I'll see you on Monday. We might go through the revived sincere or whatever. Oh yeah, and they have a double standard against VTubers on top of that. I was watching a very small VTuber who made a butt asset and that was doing the Twitch meta thing and got banned for 24 hours. Ugh. Disgusting. Yeah, I do know that. Good stream. Good night, dude. Yeah, good night, everybody. Please have fun. Please have a nice night. Goodbye for now.